What's up? This is Chris Owen. Thank you for listening to What Are You Jamming, and welcome back. It's a podcast about music, people who make it, with their blast when nobody's watching. Every episode ends with one sacred question. What are you jamming? Today's guest is Adam Davis of Omnigone. Yeah, you might know his name from punk history class like in bands like Link 80, but this isn't a nostalgia episode, it's about Omnigone, a band that's loud, fast, emotional, and very much alive in ska punk right now. The newest record, Feral, rips. It's urgency with direction, chaos to the point, it's telling someone still pushing forward instead of sitting around talking about the good old days. We get out the past and forms Omnigone without owning it, the making of Feral, songwriting, live energy, and of course, what Adam's been jamming lately. This is Quicksand by Omnigone. Let's get into it. All right, Adam, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone who's listening?
Hey, my name is Adam D. I sing in a band called Omnigone, and I used to play guitar in a band called Link 80.
Yeah, and then, I know that Link 80 are still, like, everyone's still talking about Link 80. It's like a ska punk band that everyone still talks about when they talk about that genre of music because it was so baller. But let's go before that. When did you decide to play music, and like, how did you get into like ska or ska punk itself?
Well, I decided to start playing music because I was watching MTV a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually had this weird epiphany moment where I was watching an Anthrax music video, and it was the song "Persistence of Time," and it was just the chorus of that song. They're kind of just chugging on a chord, and I didn't play an instrument at that point in my life. I didn't play guitar.
All right.
But I was like, I could understand what they were doing. I was like, that seems like something I could do. And in just a moment, I was like, I want to be in a band. And so it was such a weird feeling because it was like I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it yet.
Yeah. How old were you when you saw that, you think?
14 or 15.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, right around when I was getting into like punk and metal music. And then took some guitar lessons. And then once I figured out how to play a power chord, I was just kind of off to the races.
That's how it starts with everyone, right?
Yeah. I was never interested in like mastering the instrument. I just wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
And I first kind of fell into playing ska, kind of where I grew up in Gilroy, California. The two kind of big genres at the time were ska or ska punk, or funk metal, which ended up turning into nu metal.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the ska camp kind of by default. But I could have just gone the other way. I could have ended up in a nu metal band.
Because I know in the late 80s and stuff like that, Op Ivy were still playing Gilman Street and all that stuff, and sort of that was a lot of people.
Op Ivy had just ended, so I found Op Ivy in 1992. So they broke up in 89.
Yeah.
So I was just a few years shy of, and I lived 70 miles south of Gilman.
Yeah, sure.
So even even by the time I found out about them, they were well done, and living where I lived, I've said it before, but I may as well have been living on the moon. I felt like I was really far away from everything.
Where are you located now?
I'm firmly in the East Bay. I
Okay.
live 12 minutes away from Gilman. I live in a little town called Alameda, which is right next to East Oakland. I think it's most well known for having the most Victorian houses per capita of anywhere.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So when you, I know that Link 80 ended in 2002, right?
2002 was our last show.
Okay. So you've had a few projects between Link 80 and Omnigone, which you're in now, and so you had Dessa and Narboots, right?
Yes.
So when you picked back up ska punk, because we'll talk a little about Dessa and Narboots, but when you went from Link 80 to now Omnigone, is there anything you carried over from as a Link 80 when you started Omnigone, like the sound or anything you wanted to pick up or draw left behind, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, Omnigone is basically the sequel to Link 80.
Yeah,
Barry and I joined Link 80 because we like playing ska punk. We like playing aggressive ska punk.
yeah,
And Barry joined in the last year and a half of Link 80. So he got left in a place where he really wanted to play that style of music and is good at playing that style of music. And kind of had the rug pulled out from under him because we started doing Dessa, which was very much not a ska band.
yeah,
And so he felt a little bit like, dang, like I kind of want to do more of this. And then I wanted to do more of it. But I didn't feel like I had permission to because, I felt tied to the guys in Link 80. I felt like if I was going
sure.
to play that type of music, I should play it with them.
Hmm.
And so it took me a long time to kind of come to terms with the fact that if I wanted to play this type of music, I had to start my own band.
Yeah, that's so. Has the location where you live influenced your songwriting at all? Do you think it has, or does it? You think?
I mean, yeah, it does for
Yeah.
sure. But we're definitely like, there's a pretty easy through line to draw from like Operation Ivy, Rancid into Link 80 into
Hmm.
Omnigone. Like
Okay.
while we have more influences than that, like that's the direct lineage of why I play the type of music that I play.
Right.
Like without Operation Ivy, I don't know that I would be playing this type of music.
Yeah. So in that case, what are your influences? Like it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be style. It could be anything.
Um, I mean, really, for whenever it comes to writing for Omnigone, it's Link 80. It's especially with the first record that we wrote,
Uh,
I was very much thinking like, what would Link 80 do? What would we do if it was the members of that band?
okay.
And it's shifted since, because we kind of made a decision we weren't going to record with horns for the record Feral that we did, and it's nothing against horns. It's just hard to get horn players that are not busy,
Yeah.
um, that are
Well,
good.
I can say that new record, Feral. It's not new now. It's July of last year, but it is so fucking aggressive. I love it so much.
Oh,
um,
thank you.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah, I mean it's basically, I kind of wanted to think like what if, you know, what if Converge made a ska record?
that's
That's
a
what I was
great
kind of
way to put it,
aiming
man. I
for.
love that so much. um,
Um, so definitely like a lot of stuff outside of ska that influences
mhm,
us would probably just be hardcore.
yeah,
A lot of kind of the stuff that's a little bit grittier and weirder is definitely a big influence. And then the weird thing too is just kind of seeing the through line between
yeah,
all different kind of punk adjacent music. I feel
yeah,
like there's so many times where somebody who's in a noise project listens to ska, or somebody
yeah.
who listens to ska conversely listens to industrial music.
Right. Yeah, it's weird when people shit on ska because I'm like they'll be like, "It sounds like Pee Wee Herman music." I'll be like, "Have you listened to, like, a lot of it? Because a lot of it just sounds fucking aggressive as shit and, like, awesome." Like, so, yeah, difference in ska. But, so real quick, would you consider Omnigone a straight edge band?
I for a while I was kind of trying to push that narrative, because a lot of us are straight edge.
Yeah,
But like since we don't really have a solid lineup, and the two main musicians in the band, the two kind of mainstays are me and Barry.
mhm,
I'm straight edge. I've
yeah,
always been straight edge.
yeah,
Barry is recently sober as of I think 2019,
yeah,
but in being sober is also sort of on a spiritual journey that sometimes involves um, you know other you know things going on. So it's not really a recreational thing where it's like um to party. or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But like, so we'll joke that Barry is California sober.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink or smoke cigarettes anymore.
Yeah.
But he might have a weed gummy to go to sleep
Yeah.
or
Yeah. That's fair.
something like that.
I think that
So
still counts.
as much as I'd like to front that we're a straight edge band, we're not like a hardline straight edge band. Sometimes I'll put the triple X thing on our merchandise
Yeah.
just because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like our current guitar player Frank, drinks.
Yeah.
Not heavily, but he does. So I can't really consider us a straight edge band.
So, actually, what does straight edge mean to you?
For me, it was just
Yeah.
I grew up in a religious household, and so when
Yeah.
I got into punk rock, I already didn't drink or smoke or do any drugs. And funny enough, the only place I was ever offered drugs was at a church function as a teenager.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a kid who had moved to my town from the Bay Area, and he asked me if I wanted to go smoke weed after class, and I was like, no, I don't do that. And he was like, oh, well, do you drink? And I was like, no. He was like, oh, well, how come you don't have X's on your stuff? And I was like, why would I have X's on my stuff? He's like, oh, because you're straight edge. And I was like, cool, I'm straight edge. So I kind of jumped into it without, I knew who Minor Threat was, but I didn't really know the doctrine behind it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just abstaining from drugs. Some people take it further than that. I'll take Advil or prescription drugs when necessary.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it to like alter my perception of the world.
Yeah. 100%. So has your role as a songwriter changed since earlier years, even from Dessa or Narboots? Like has your songwriting changed since then? Like the past, I guess, 20 years.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
When we were doing Link 80, everybody would kind of come to practice with ideas and kind of throw parts out, and we would kind of hash it out in the practice space. And that was the same thing that we did in Dessa, to the point where we would write songs and songs and songs and songs that nobody ever heard because we just played them in our practice space and kept changing them and eventually got tired of playing them and then threw them away. And then in Narboots, it was kind of the exact, it was a rebellion against that. It was just kind of throw everything at the wall and whatever sticks is fine. We'll play anything, any dumb idea that comes into our head. We'll just make a song out of it. So I don't know that makes for the best songwriting,
Yeah.
but it helps to clear out those dumb ideas. And then when it came around to Omnigone, we had played the Link 80 reunion show in 2016, and it made me realize how much I miss playing this type of music. And so I decided, okay, well, I've thought about this for 3 years now. I either need to just write some songs and put them out or stop thinking about it because I'm getting older and there's, less and less time to do this. So do it or don't do it. So I did it. I wrote 3 songs and put them out, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And now the way we write is Barry and I both just demo material at home. We both have little workstations on our computers, so we just keep it really simple. No big plugins, no big things. We just treat our digital workstations like 4-tracks. So drums, bass, guitars, vocals, and we just bounce ideas back and forth. And usually Barry will send me either a full song with lyrics or music or just the music, and then I'll add words to it. And then in the past, I've written entire compositions and sent them to him. And we just go back and forth like that. And that's been the most fruitful way. That way, when we go into the practice space, it's not to write, it's to refine and get things sounding tight so that we can either play a show or go record.
So that actually goes to the next question I have. Is there any piece of gear you cannot live without? It doesn't have to be music. It's just something you need when you're creating.
Just like a guitar, any type of guitar. I feel like any crummy guitar that has 6 strings that stays in tune, that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and maybe a notepad, pen
Yeah.
and paper. That's how I like to write lyrics. And, the first probably dozen Omnigone songs were all written on my crummy acoustic guitar that I found backstage at a Dessa show. Um, Somebody just abandoned a guitar backstage at the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma. There were no strings on it. I think they were just going to smash it,
Yeah,
probably.
sure. Yeah.
And
You saved
it's
it.
not the best guitar. I looked it up online. It's like $100, no name guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
And but it's been my guitar ever since, and it's what I'm used to playing on. And it's funny. I can see where the pick is starting to wear through the wood now,
Yeah.
and eventually it'll probably fall apart, and I'll get a different one.
Yeah. I mean, who else has a guitar like that? So you can
Yeah.
keep it around. But I remember when my first electric guitar was a $99 Epiphone special.
Hmm.
So and I love that thing. I said it got stolen years later, but I still miss it. It was the best guitar to me at that time. I was like
Yeah.
15.
I mean, I had a guitar that a drummer from a band I was in high school gave me that was like a no name. Uh, looked kind of like an all black. Um, Not Les Paul, Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Uh, and it had like a kind of a pointy headstock, but the
Uh-huh.
body was Stratocaster shaped, and I can't even remember the brand. And I just covered that thing in stickers. And the thing that I remember about it was I was just really getting into playing like punk and ska punk, and uh, I didn't have a foot switch. Either my foot switch had broken or something happened to my amp, and I noticed that if I clicked the pickup selector to the treble position, that it acted as a boost
Yeah.
for some reason in this guitar. Something was wrong in the wiring, and so it was louder in that position and sounded really gnarly.
Yeah.
So rather than using a foot switch, I was just using that. I would just click it into that position for like the distorted parts, and then click it back for ska. It was a super piece of crap guitar,
Yeah.
but I really got a kick out of it. And since it was like a guitar that was given to me, I just thrashed that thing. I threw it all over
Yeah.
the place, just run it into stuff. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what's something you can do now, musically or emotionally, that you couldn't have done, in the past projects that you have that you've really utilized in Omnicom?
I can sing. I
Yeah.
I was I never felt confident enough to sing outside of just doing screamy backup vocals.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did a lot of vocals in Nar Boots, but a lot of it was just repeating the same line over and over again, like a
Uh-huh.
lot of chanting stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of like shouting the same thing over and over again.
Mhm.
And I feel like I've finally gotten to a place where I'm willing to try to actually sing,
Yeah.
and that I feel like I can sound the way that I want my voice to sound. And I think the real sad thing about being a vocalist is that you can get all the knowledge you want. You can take vocal lessons, you can learn how to breathe and do everything and how to hold a mic. Your voice is your voice though. Like you're
Yeah.
just going to sound like you sound. And so, I've heard people say, you know, they'll never say it to me about my band, but I've heard
Yeah.
people say it about other bands and be like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
I just don't like the vocals." And it's like, well, if you don't like the vocals, there's not a lot that can be done about it. And also that's just how that person sounds. And, you know, some people's voices sound a way that you want to listen to them and some don't.
Well, I want to tell
But
you,
it's
man, I want to tell you one of my favorite things about Omnicom are the vocals.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so aggressive and so just fucking umphing. It just makes me feel great.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, do you ever feel a sense of pressure, responsibility since you're tied to Linkating, that Omnicom or is Omnicom freed you from that?
Um, I feel kind of freed from it.
Mhm.
Because I kind of have my own thing now, and I feel like I feel like we're carving out a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
And as much as Link 80 means to me,
Yeah.
I don't know that it means the amount that it means to me. I don't think that it's reflected in the world at large. I
Okay.
think that Link 80 had its place and
Uh-huh.
that people liked it, but I feel like a lot of people have forgotten. And I also feel like Link 80 could have gone on to do really cool things,
Uh-huh.
but with Nick passing away and with some of the decisions that we made as young people to continue that band, um, and then to change it to Dessa, I think that a lot of it's just kind of been lost to the sounds of time at this point.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that with, Omnigone, that'll be what people remember me for.
Yeah. I I agree. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to get away from that, but yeah, Blink-80 is sort of moving the wayside. So when it actually comes to ska in today's landscape, it's different than in the '90s to early
Yeah.
2000s. What do you think it fits today? Omnigone.
Uh, I just feel like there's more bands doing what we're doing now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, there's kind of a niche for, you can call it crack rock steady or just aggressive ska core or,
Yeah.
uh, ska core in general. Back in the day, I feel like there was like maybe like six bands doing what Link 80 was trying to do.
Mhm.
And now I feel like there's a whole subgenre that gets it. And it used to be that we were too punk for the ska kids and we were too ska for the punk kids. And we were also doing hardcore, and the hardcore scene didn't want to have anything to do with us. And now it's like, bands like Folly, you know, constantly just play hardcore shows. They don't really play
Yeah.
ska shows.
Yeah.
Bands like the Upfucks, play straight up, punk shows.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like like it feels like we have a place to play now.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Feral, if that's okay.
Sure.
Um, so it's definitely raw and
Hmm.
focused and emotionally charged. What was the headspace there when putting together the record? Like what was your headspace in that?
Sure. So for the first two records, the primary, guitar and bass stuff was all me and Barry. So we were just grabbing drummers and going for it. So the first recording has four different drummers on it. And then the second one was recorded kind of coming right out of the pandemic. So our friend Justin Amons played drums on that record. And then we had, had a couple different lineups live. And so Nick had been playing guitar for a lot of our touring dates, but he lives in Southern California. And then up here, Russ Eichlers is a friend of mine that I've known for half of his life, over half of his life. And he was playing guitar for the Northern California shows. So we eventually had a show where both of them played, and I was like, I really like this with the two guitars and one person doing one thing and somebody doing something else. And so I was like, let's try that. And I was also, I wanted to hand over the reins to them as guitar players. I didn't want to have anything to do with the guitars. Um, so they played all the guitars. I didn't play any guitar on that record. And it was very freeing. And it was also allowed me to kind of play producer where I could hear everything that was happening.
Right.
And I could also just focus on my vocals and just try to be the vocalist. And that was nice as well. And the thing that, in the studio, probably the second day, I was like, we're going to call this record Feral, because it was like, it just felt wild. Like every time we would do a take, it just felt crazier and crazier and crazier. And it was like,
Yeah.
anytime I would be like screaming and be like, man, this feels like it's way too much. The rest of the band would be like, no, do more, do even more. And I'd be like, okay, like, let's go.
Yeah.
So the record's, probably the most aggressive record we will ever do. And a big part of that also is just, the way the guitars are placed in the mix. we left a lot of like room for just kind of feedback and mistakes and
Uh-huh.
uh, crazy sounding stuff. They would do stuff and they'd be like, "Oh, I need to redo that," and I'd be like, "No, leave it." Like
Yeah.
it sounds like a band, and it sounds like the whole thing is kind of going off the rails in a couple parts.
So what song album do you think pushed you guys most creatively?
Um, mm, on that record, maybe Again and Again.
Mhm.
Just because it's a slower song. Um, it's always hard for like punk bands to pull back a little bit and play
Yeah.
something with a little bit more groove
Mhm.
and something that has a lead and like a big chorus. It definitely pushed us more towards like writing like kind of catchier stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, my whole drive for wanting to play this type of music is I like big, shouty, sing along parts and fast punk money beat and breakdowns.
Yeah.
And that song doesn't have any of that. So that I think that's kind of trying to like, stretch ourselves the most right there.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about playing live? Do you like playing live even? Is the
Yeah, I love
question.
playing live.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I I like people a
Yeah.
lot. I like talking to people. Um, I you know, I think that we all started doing this. I'm 48 now. I'll be
Uh-huh.
49 in uh February, and I just keep every time I'm at a show, my show or somebody else's, I just think about how great it is to do something that I've been doing since I was 15
Yeah.
and how much I enjoy it and how much I even like kind of like a shitty show, like the things about that I enjoy. Like watching a band and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Like if the band's great, like
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome being at a show and you're one of like 10 people at the show.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, wow, like I feel so lucky. I know from like the band perspective it sucks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but being one of those 10 people, I got to see the Deftones as a teenager and there were 30 people there.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they play stadiums now. And
Yeah.
and they put on an insane show.
Yeah.
And it was just that the band that played before them was the popular band. So there were like 300 kids there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as soon as that band left, all the people left. And so the Deftones played to 30 people and I was there and it was so rad. So, just I really like the live experience. I like when people sing along. I like seeing people dance. I like
Yeah.
seeing people get into it. Um, I try really hard not to focus on the one person who's maybe standing there with their arms folded or looking at their
Yeah.
phone or having a bad time because I know that it's 99.9% of the time not about me.
Yeah.
They either came from work and it sucked or they're in a fight with their girlfriend
Yeah.
or they got dragged to the show by a friend or they drank too much or smoked some bad weed or having a bad day, bad time because of it. 99.9% of the time, it's not because of me. If it is
Yeah.
because of me, hopefully they'll, I don't know, go home.
So,
You don't have to stand there and watch me do my thing.
I talked to Brian Funk from Thou, the Sludge Metal band Thou, and,
Yeah.
he was talking about how, the audience they play to, everyone's there with their arms crossed, not moving at all, which and so he hates playing live because of that. He's like,
Yeah.
he can't get in his head. He says, like, being in a band's a two-way street. You gotta get with the audience and what the band's playing, so I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
Thou is in a very specific like place too, because the songs are long and
Yeah.
heavy
Yeah.
and serious. But those guys don't look like druids. They look like dudes.
Yeah.
And so the audience I think is probably confused.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're like, I feel like I should be like doing a blood ritual right now,
Yeah.
like while this music's
And
happening.
the two
But
times I've
like,
actually seen, That
they're all
live,
up
they
there
played
in
like
like
20-minute
jeans
sets.
and t-shirts,
Yeah, yeah.
and it doesn't feel confrontational.
Yeah. One second, we have an internet connection. We're back up.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so you talked about writing as a way to channel intensity, rather than
hmm
explode from it. Where does Farrell sit in that journey to you?
in channeling intensity.
Yeah. Or not
Yeah.
instead of like. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Clarify a little bit. Let me get my
Yeah.
head around
So
the question a little bit more.
the question is like, instead of like exploding your channeling, like,
hmm
is there something? Do you feel like that that's a way to I mean, I guess to keep it, I guess, contained? This is sounding super
like
noisy.
not freak out in my own life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't go. I should probably go to therapy, and I don't. I'm in a band instead,
Yeah. That's
and
good.
I get it out there. Uh, like, yeah, it's definitely like a pressure release valve. If I didn't have it in my life, I would need to take it out somewhere else. And, I think therapy is probably a great option for a lot of people. It's just not something that I want to do. I would rather yell in front of people and be dramatic that way. And I mean, the other thing I really like to do is I like to exercise.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of the same experience from exercising as I do from performing, where at the end of it, I feel spent and it feels like going off to battle, the way that I like to exercise. So
Yeah.
I come out the other side and a lot of the tension has been relieved. I don't feel pent up anymore.
Yeah. So if Pharaoh's a snapshot or Omnigone is, I guess, like back then, are you guys gearing up for a new record? I know there's only 15 months between, between Pharaoh and Against the Rest. So what do you think? What's coming up for you guys?
We have another record already recorded.
Oh, you just waiting to put it out.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything yet, but
Okay.
yeah, we
Okay.
already have
Okay.
another one ready.
Okay. I will make sure I keep a mum on that, but it's ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Um, so I'm gonna ask you basically the question of the show. What are you jamming?
What am I jamming?
Yeah.
Lately, let's see. I just went and saw the Agrolites. I'm friends
Yeah.
with Chris, their drummer.
Uh-huh.
So I just picked up Reggae Now, so I've been listening to that. That's on my turntable right now. It's Christmas time, so I'm listening to a lot of Nat King Cole. I think
Absolutely.
Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby are my favorite Christmas singers.
Hmm.
I like kind of the warm timbre of their voices.
Yeah.
In the van, the tour van, we have a cassette deck. So I've been listening to this guy, Hudson Freeman, who kind of went viral online for this song called If You Know Me. He put out a tape called Hudson Freeman is a folk artist that
Yeah.
I think is really good and sounds particularly good on cassette. I've also listened to it on Spotify and I don't enjoy it as much. It's much better on it's not much better on tape, but it is good as it is. It is even better on tape.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There's this I have this live record by Bob Dylan, a 1966 Royal Albert Hall one, and I had it on CD, but on the CD they actually include, like, what was happening in between songs, people yelling at him, calling him Jesus,
Mm,
but on the Spotify version, it's not there. So, like, it's
yeah,
like, I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like, the reason why this is interesting, at least in Bob Dylan's thing, is it has those things where people are screaming at him. You don't hear that on Spotify. So, it's a little upsetting. Spotify's, neutered some of the stuff they have on there, you know?
yeah, yeah. There's on that same tip. There's a band called the Jesus Lizard, and my favorite record of theirs is called Show, and
Mhm.
it's their live record, and it's them opening for the Damned, and the audience hates them. And so the whole time they're playing really, really well and they sound ferocious. And in between every song, David Yao, their singer, is like, shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. Um, and then at the end of the tape, they say, ladies and gentlemen, the damned. And you can hear the whole audience like booing them. And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So, what are there any young bands doing something now that genuinely inspires you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are there any younger bands out right now that are doing stuff that genuinely inspires you?
There's a band called Chudson from Southern
Uh-huh.
California.
Yeah.
They are playing ska punk. They're figuring it out. They kind of sound like a cross between Operation Ivy and Bomb the Music Industry, Jeff
Yeah.
Rosenstock type
Yeah.
stuff.
God, I love Jeff Rosenstock
Um,
so much.
yeah, so they've got a really big social media following, and they're touring kind of relentlessly. They're all
Hmm.
really young, like 20, 21, 22 maybe.
Yeah.
Um, they look like babies to me.
Yeah.
They write really good songs,
Yeah.
and they're really putting their all into it. I find a lot of inspiration from those guys. Uh, my main hope for them is that they kind of, through touring as much as they are, that they kind of gel into like a cohesive unit. Because
Uh-huh.
right now, they're kind of doing what we do a lot of the time, where they're like, oh, we need a new guy to do this or a new guy to do that, because people, have other obligations besides touring.
Right.
But when you're young and you're in your 20s, you should just tour and tour and tour.
Right. Right.
You should just be broke. It's it's the best way to do it.
Live the dream that way.
Yeah.
Um. So, if you had Mount Rushmore of ska, what would it be?
Uh, it would be Operation Ivy
Uh-huh.
and the Specials, and well, for me personally,
Yeah.
I think the Specials are very important,
But
but for me personally, I'm gonna take the Specials back off of there, and I'm
okay.
just gonna do my Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gonna have Skank and Pickle on it.
Yeah. Sure.
It's gonna have the Nick version of Link 80 on it, the version
Okay.
that I was a fan of. It's gonna have Operation Ivy on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna have the Suicide Machines on it.
Great. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Suicide
Yeah,
Machines. Yeah.
yeah, because that's my, like, I understand the importance of Jamaican ska. I understand the importance of the Specials. I
Yeah.
understand the importance of Madness. I understand all of that, but I came to all of that through ska punk.
Yeah.
Like, I was introduced to it through Operation Ivy and Skank and Pickle
Mm-hmm.
and early Link 80 and the Suicide Machines. It would be disingenuous for me to retcon that and try to be like, oh no, like, I've always loved the Specials. I didn't hear the Specials until the first time I was doing an overnight drive on tour. Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. What is this? Oh, it's the Specials. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like saying I like rock music, and I go back and say, it's all about the Beatles when I would say no effects or something like that.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if it's like a lot of people point to like the early punk stuff as being really important. And I'm like, sure, it's important, but I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, a lot of it's recorded badly.
Oh yeah.
And a
Terrible.
lot of it is like the cool thing about Bad Brains was their live show.
Yeah. Right.
And so, like, those recordings kind of capture it, but not really. Like,
Yeah.
and even videotapes are cool, but it's like, unless you're there and you're seeing it in person, like, that's where the power really is.
Hmm.
And so,
I,
like, I
I
understand the importance of it and the power of it, but I think every generation is going to have their touchstones.
Yeah, like, the other plenty bands I've seen live that I only like seeing them live. Like, I don't like their
Yeah.
records that much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, sometimes I like them more, but a lot of times that you can't capture that live energy, in the studio a lot of the time. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Alright, man, well, I really wanna thank you for being on the podcast. It was a blast talking to you.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, that was my conversation with the Davis of Omnigone. Touch on the past a bit with the real stories of Omnigone. A killer ska punk band. Farrell's out now. Check it out. Huge thanks to Adam for the honesty, and thank you for listening all the way through. It's like a real G. As always, you gotta ask, what are you jamming? DM me, comment, send an old-fashioned email, where are you jamming podcast@gmail.com, or stand outside of my window with a boombox in the rain like it's saying anything. I'll probably listen. I'm gonna leave you with Again and Again by Omnigone. Play it loud, mean it. See you guys next time, and thanks for listening.